I am Devin Williams, and you are watching BDTV. This week's newscast consists of information about spring break, March Madness, Women's History Month, and returning back to school. This year, we only get 1 week for break. Are you heading anywhere? Here's Kansas with the hotspots.
Thanks, Devin. Slowly but surely, people have started to travel more. Airports have recorded over 1,513,115 travelers this past week, which is the highest it's been since March 13th of last year. Some hotspots that lots of spring breakers are visiting are Miami, Florida, Panama, Florida, Las Vegas, Nevada, and Padre Island, Texas. Already, Padre Island and Miami have been put on curfews. Wherever you go for spring break, Giants, always remember hands, face, and space, meaning wash your hands, wear your mask, and practice social distancing. This is Candace Robinson, BDTV.
With spring break rapidly approaching and COVID still in full effect, apps like Instagram and TikTok are becoming platforms of expression that help pass time. With that being said, numerous picture challenges on these apps have been popping up everywhere, whether it's a shoot at a basketball game or just a post for your feed. I'm going to show you how to get in on the fun and take quality pictures that you can share as well with just an iPhone Model X or newer. The main components to taking a quick yet high quality picture are the background, lighting, angles, and of course, you need an object to be the main focus of the picture. As you see here, I'm getting different angles whether they are low, medium, or really high. Doing that, I'm flipping through the preset picture modes with 0.5, 1, and 2.5 zoom-in lenses. These come with all iPhones, Model X or newer. Feel free to move, or in this instance, tell your object what you think they should do with their poses and how they should incorporate themselves with the background. As you see, I had her grab a book. This is one way to tie the whole picture together quickly, and it gives your friend a comfortable pose. Well, BD, that's all we have time for today. If you would like to get more in-depth info on how to take quality pictures via your smartphone, feel free to let us know so we can do more specifically informative segments on one of the keys to making a great photo. Happy snapping, and if it's about you and me, it's on BDTV.
With spring break coming up soon, here are some of the things you should expect when flying. You may be asked to lower your mask at TSA to help verify identity. While air travels have increased since the start of the pandemic, despite a recent decline in the numbers of coronavirus cases during past several weeks, health experts are worried about spring breakers and the possibility of increased travel. Tampa, Florida health experts have issued a warning about the possibility of a spike in the coronavirus cases because of spring breakers. Some colleges say if you go on vacation, please do not come back with your chance of the virus. You are allowed to bring up to 12 ounces of hand sanitizer in your carry-on bag now. The Center for Disease Control and Prevention continues warning that travel increases your chance of getting and spreading the virus. Make sure to stay safe and always keep your mask up while traveling. Lauren Moss, BDTV.
As spring break takes off and with the pandemic still being a thing, many areas are open, but to what capacity? With the new COVID vaccine, more and more families are planning on going somewhere for their spring break. But according to the Associated Press, the combination of new strains of COVID-19 being discovered and new travel restrictions implemented by U.S. President Joe Biden at popular destinations has canceled or put many vacations in doubt. It is also confirmed that some colleges have canceled spring break, and if a student may choose to go on vacation, they might as well not come back. Jake Cerniak, BDTV.
Many of our student athletes will be competing and conditioning over spring break. Here's one of my workouts. Mason, BDTV.
About 4 in 10 lower income Black and Hispanic adults have used money from savings or retirement accounts since the corona outbreak began.
The virus has impacted mostly low-wage, minimum-wage workers, right? Those have been the individuals who have, first of all, been on the front lines and have been more exposed to the virus. But it's also impacted their earnings because those are also the first jobs to be let go. And so if you are a low wage or minimum wage worker, life is already tough for you.
You know, even when I go to places that I never gave a tip for before, you know, I'm always trying to give a tip because I'm not struggling possibly, but I know a lot of these places are running into the issue of like, if they don't get that tip, if they're not able to make that delivery, if they don't serve that food, if they don't do these different tasks, then they're going to run into an issue that a lot of people, especially in the United States, take for granted.
Anaya Payne, BDTV. Spring has officially begun, so what that means is tournament time. March Madness is here. What is it like to be at a game? Here's Emmy with the story.
It's one thing to watch a March Madness game at home and a completely different experience in person. When we were given the chance to watch our favorite team play here in Indy, we weren't about to pass up that opportunity. The LSU versus Michigan game itself was exciting. Scores ran close throughout the entire game, and fans all around were lively with anticipation. UMich fans flooded the crowd, pumped and totally devoted to their team. My dad and I, being huge Michigan fans ourselves, got to cheer on our team alongside the students. It was a blast. Not even mentioning the plethora of cute boys in our section. After our victory, the enthusiasm of our section ignited, and it was an energy I will never forget. I cannot wait to watch Michigan go further this season.
BDTV. In light of March Madness, I'm Nyla Jones, here to bring you some trivia facts. The first D1's men's basketball tournament was played in 1939. There were 8 teams, and Oregon took the championship. There are currently 68 teams. The phrase March Madness was first connected with the NCAA when Brent Musburger uttered it during his tournament coverage. The tournament was first held in Indy in 1980 at Market Square Arena, with the Louisville Cardinals winning the championship. Tune in this season to see who takes the championship. Injuries are a part of the game, but with every injury, there is a trainer, which is why our Ben Davis trainers are helping the March Madness athletes, also known as the Big Dance.
Many opportunities to work events this large and this important, and on this, a big scale, and to be able to do that while also not leaving home and get to do it for 3 weeks it's a great opportunity. Very, very grateful. Biggest takeaway is really just the experience, kind of soaking everything in, seeing the players and the coaches, the banners and everything. It's just really cool experience. Originally I wanted Florida to win because that's where I went to school, but they lost last week, so I don't have any teams in the fight anymore. So I guess cheering for the underdogs at this point.
The country's top male and female collegiate athletes are currently in the midst of March Madness, arguably the biggest tournament in college basketball. Men's teams were greeted with model weight rooms, buffets, and swag bags full of March Madness gear. What about the women's teams? Female athletes were met with far less than what we've seen in the male bubble. Flooding social media all weekend, the images of weight rooms and meals provided for these Division I athletes were utterly embarrassing. This isn't the first time the NCAA has been caught in a gender equality uproar. NCAA versus Smith was a 1998 Supreme Court case in which Justice Ginsburg ruled that because the NCAA is a nonprofit member of colleges and universities, they are not legally bound to follow Title IX to protect their athletes based on a gender bias. After the public shaming, the NCAA improved things for the women practically overnight, especially the weight rooms. Although the NCAA has always supported women's sports, it has never been nearly the same as the men's. A Band-Aid over this issue is not a solution.
If you aren't upset about this problem, then you're a part of it.
The month of March is not only about the tournaments, but it is about Women's History Month. Let's take the time to acknowledge and celebrate the women that have made a difference.
The young, black woman, loving the skin she's in, her strength so radiant it shines through her melanin. Her skin uses the sun as an accessory. I can feel her ambition when she stands next to me. Without her, the world couldn't move. Her skin bronze like a token, her eyes brown as mahogany wood. Does her melanin offend you? When deep down, we're all the same. But when you look at her, what do you see? Can you see the phenomenal woman that's inside of me? Like another powerful black woman once said, I'm a woman, phenomenal woman. That's me. Happy Melanin March. Kalia Wainwright, BDTV.
Simone Biles became the first woman to win 4 straight U.S. all-around titles in 42 years. She competed in the 2016 Rio Summer Olympics for women's gymnastics, winning 4 gold medals and 1 bronze medal. She also competes in World Championship for women's gymnastics, where she won 19 gold medals, 3 silver medals, and 3 bronze medals. Her greatness will continue in the future.
Emma Watson is a name I'm sure you're familiar with. This famous English actress has been featured in numerous breathtaking films, including Perks of Being a Wallflower, Little Women, Beauty and the Beast, and of course the Harry Potter series.
Oculus Reparo.
Aside from Emma's work on screen, she's notorious for her work in women's rights. She's a UN ambassador for the He for She campaign and works in gender equality through the Young World Foundation. She also advocates for female sexuality empowerment. Watson stated in an Esquire interview, both men and women should feel free to be sensitive. Both men and women should feel free to be strong. Watson also heavily promotes the education for girls, proven through her service as an ambassador for the CAMFID International. All of these efforts and actions Emma Watson has made have impacted the women's rights movement, and she has stood strong in her influential position for years, inspiring young women across the world to be proud of their gender.
Women share this planet 50-50, and they are underrepresented. Their potential astonishingly untapped.
Emmy Bugler, BDTV.
This year's Super Bowl helped pave the way for women, proving that they can participate in men's sports at a high level. During the Super Bowl, there was a woman referee and 2 women assistant coaches. Sarah Thomas, the NFL's first full-time women referee, became the first woman to officiate in the Super Bowl as she acted as the down judge. Lori Locust and Maraja Fadifer were the first women to win the Super Bowl as assistant coaches for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Lori Locust works as the assistant defensive line coach for Tampa, and Maraja Fadifer is the assistant strength and conditioning coach. She is also one of the few strength and conditioning coaches that have physical therapy degree. Their achievements prove that women are qualified to work in the men's sports world. Amadou Diallo, BDTV.
Sofia Coppola is the daughter of critically acclaimed director Francis Ford Coppola. She writes, directs, produces, and has won multiple awards, including the Academy Award for Writing, Golden Globe Award for Best Motion Picture, and Golden Globe for Best Screenplay. Her most recognizable films are Marie Antoinette, Lost in Translation, and On the Rocks. Her work is a huge accomplishment for women everywhere who aspire to write and direct.
After a long year of hybrid, we are finally returning back to school 5 days a week.
With the new full-time schedule in place, it's important to remember procedures like social distancing and avoiding contact with people if necessary. Keeping your hands clean and wearing your mask the correct way is also important in preventing the spread of germs. Giovanni Terrazas, BDTV.
Here at Ben Davis High School, we have recently got the news that we're going back full-time, 5 days a week. I asked some local Ben Davis students about how they feel about this upcoming change and if they believe this is the step in the right direction.
I don't really think going back to school is a good idea just because not everybody's vaccinated. There's only like the older people that are getting vaccinated right now. I think they should have waited until the younger people were available for the vaccine.
Going back to school full-time is probably not a good idea because of the safety health hazards, but I also think it's a good idea because students get to do their work more and get it done and stay focused.
I'm excited to go back to school full time. I get to see everybody on the other days that I haven't seen for a while. Extracurriculars, they should be easier because I'm going from school straight there and I don't have to find another ride, and learning becomes way easier because I get to go every day and go over the material.
Let's attack April 5th with a great mentality, Giants. This is Josh Flowers on BDTV.
Miss Lex is a physical education teacher. She is excited to have students back for more interaction.
I'm a little bit excited about it. I get to see all of my students together in class, and watching them interact with each other It's been at a minimum, but with us going back full-time, it's really exciting for me to be able to see that interaction, especially in PE class, where it's a little bit more of an informal setting. So it's going to be a little bit of a struggle, I think, getting used to this every day, but I think after a few weeks, we'll get back into the swing of it.
Equals, and then this will be the B and the C right here, so 2 squared.
Miss Offen is a teacher in the math department. She's excited to have students back, but she has some concerns.
But I am concerned with COVID. Thankfully, I know a lot of the teachers are getting their vaccines, but students don't have that option right now. So I'm a little bit concerned with just the exposure that students are going to be having.
Being able to watch the kids interact with each other at full capacity is going to be something that will be a benefit, I think, in the long run for everybody.
Those people who will never experience a mental health problem.
Due to this pandemic, there has been a rise in mental illnesses. But please note, you are not alone.
That represents your family. This one's your friends and some work colleagues. It's a natural part of being human, so whether you're with your family, your friends, or your colleagues, the likelihood is a few of those people at some point in their lives are also going to struggle with their mental health. So even if you're not struggling, the chances are you're going to brush shoulders with someone who is, so be kind.
There are resources here at school if you feel like you're struggling and need somebody to talk to. So if that is you, if you feel like you're experiencing some heightened anxiety, some heightened depression, worried about returning to school 5 days a week after spring break, we do have people here who are available to help. Doing things on a daily basis that make you feel good, that refill your cup. Because if we are continuously pouring water into our cups and they're overflowing and we're not finding ways to release that water before it overflows, release that stress before it overflows, we're not going to be able to go through our day.
The musical is one of the biggest events here at Ben Davis High School. Every year, the choir department puts together an amazing show. This year, it's The Wiz. Let's hear from our directors and students on this change.
This year with Corona and all of the restrictions that we've had here at the building, essentially we just have to keep socially distanced at rehearsals, and we keep our masks on at rehearsals, of course. We're also going to incorporate some masks in the actual costuming on the stage, since we're going to be masks on the stage as well.
I think the greatest thing is because we've had to keep the cast small because of numbers and distancing and safety, a lot of ensemble members are actually getting a taste of what being an ensemble member in a Broadway or off-Broadway show is like, where, yeah, you're ensemble, you may not be a lead, but guess what? You're playing 4 different characters and your costume changing every time you get off stage.
The best outcome in this experience is to still having this experience as a senior, and for other people, because we could have not had a musical because of COVID, but we're still on.
Even though Corona is still here, that doesn't stop these kids from doing what they love to do. You can come see The Wiz May 13th, 14th, and the 15th at 7 p.m. in the theater. Make sure to enter door 2. Kalini Valerio, BDTV.
That's all for this week's newscast. We will be back after spring break. Be safe, have fun, and remember, it's about you and me. It's on BDTV.